Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
He's alive!
Welcome to Where the Weird Ones Are.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Powerful figures in Hollywood as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards or perhaps extraterrestrials.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.
Let's get weird.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. I'm Kevin, but you probably already knew that, and if you didn't, now you do. So today on the podcast, we have Tommy Cullum. He is the host of Let's Get Freaky podcast. Very interesting guy, very intelligent, and very friendly. We've been talking for a while now. I've been on his show. Actually, both me and my sister were on his show for an episode of our experiences. So today we bring him on. Well, I bring him on. My sister, so just so everybody knows going forward, there's a good possible chance that my sister is no longer going to be involved. She's got a lot of stuff going on for her, so I'm not going to hold her to showing up. But she may, once in a while, make an appearance, and that's okay with me. Anyways, so I already knew pretty much all of Tommy's experiences, so and I already know some of the answers, so it was a little hard for me to figure out exactly how I wanted to ask questions so that you guys understood. So I hope it translated well. So anyways, he talks about, some shadow figures. He talks about some UFO sightings, and he actually saw one with his mother-in-law, so that's a good validation for him to, I did see this, somebody else was with me and actually witnessed this as well. So I think that's pretty cool. And he also sees the ghost of William Shakespeare. No, I'm just kidding. But he sees there is a ghost that resembles William Shakespeare, which is also very interesting. I mean, he's out in the UK. I forget exactly where, but I'm sure there is some serious hauntings going over there. I mean, that country is a lot older than ours here in America, so there's probably a lot more harnessed energy. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I just went to Encounter Quest, met a bunch of really cool new people. Met Jenny and Oren, who are co-host on Bizarre Encounters, and got to meet them in person, and it was awesome. They are great, friendly people, and, it was a good time. We hung out literally all day, so I had fun. They seemed to have fun, so everybody seemed to have fun. I met the guys from Cryptid of the Corn, which is a podcast that I listen to, and met Ron Moorhead, Daryl Sims, some legendary figures in the cryptid world. So it was a good time. There's also Seymour Masks, I think is the name. He does some really good, fantastic masks. Oh my god, I can't even, they are really well done. So he is an interesting character as well. Very friendly dude. I talked to him for like 10 minutes. or 15 minutes straight. But obviously, I don't want to take up 2 of his time. There's other people there trying to check out his shit. So, yeah, man, it was a good time. So, anyways, we'll just mosey on along. So, if you guys have any encounters, any weird stuff you want to talk about on the podcast, please hit me up at wheretheweirdonesare@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, where_the_weirdOnes_are. You can also DM me as well. You don't have to go to the email, but the email is there if you decide to go that route, or if you're not on social media. So if you want to talk about cryptids, aliens, ghosts, spirits, spirituality, all the weird shit, because I'm fucking weird, and if you're weird, then we'll probably get along. So yeah, if you want to head on over to 16%.com, you can find some cryptid merchandise, which is pretty great. Also, if you do decide to buy something from there, use the coupon code Stay Weird. I believe, if I remember correctly, I did use a capital S and a capital W on there. If that doesn't work, then just do Stay Weird. So they kick out a percentage to every purchase. To me, I'm saying a lot. Also, I am working on a merch store as well. I'm also working on a comic book with the fine art medium. Her name's Emily, and she is such a sweetheart, such a ray of sunshine. So if you guys have any graphic design needs, I would highly suggest going to her. She could use the work. She's been out of work herself due to a sickness, I believe is what she said. Physical ailments. So whatever she can get doing her graphic design will help her and a lot, and I hope that I can help her get some business. So like I said, she's a super sweet person, super friendly, so don't be afraid to message her with anything that you need graphic design wise. Also, she does do medium stuff, so if you want, just go follow her and you can figure that out with her. So that's the fine art medium on IG, bruh. So anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this episode with Tommy Cullum. Like I said, he's a great guy. I enjoy him, and I hope you guys enjoy his stories as well. And I hope you check out his podcast, which I believe are on all the platforms I am, which is YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. He may have more avenues than I do right now. But I am working on I'm going to try and get on iHeart here pretty soon. I might even get on Rumble for another video aspect. Just in case YouTube decides to kick me off because of my conspiracies. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy our discussion today. And as always, stay weird.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Weird. Get weird.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. Today we have Tommy Cullum. He is the host of Let's Get Freaky. I listened to it. It's super interesting. If you don't know already, my sister and I had been on his show. We're episode 34, I believe. So yeah, we've been talking for a while off and on, and I love his show, and I think he's a great guy, fantastic person. And anyways, we'll get into his experiences now. So Tommy, how you doing, bud?
Very well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the kind words, man. I love your show too.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I listened to one of your last episodes, and you were basically saying the same things that I've been saying, where just you didn't expect like the camaraderie within doing this, and how connected you become with people that you have on your show.
Yeah,
So
100%. You find your tribe.
for
That's
sure.
that's how you find people that are in the same interest in the same stuff as you, and yeah, it's great, man. That's been the best thing about doing the podcast. Meeting people like yourself.
Yeah. So I was just talking to somebody the other day about how with my anxiety and stuff, it's hard to talk to people and like socially interact, I guess. But how like when I started this podcast, it just started my personality. I mean, once I get to know people anyway, my personality comes out the way it comes out on this show, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's become so much easier to talk to complete strangers and
man.
let them see how animated I can be. You know what I mean? So it's
been
fun. It's been really fun. I've been kind of coming out of my shell, and it's really great. So,
well, I love your show, man. I think it's awesome.
Thanks, bud. Also, if for everybody listening, if you haven't listened to Tommy's show, we have a handful of the same guests, and we kind of like go have a little bit of a different take with the same guests, and I think it's interesting to listen to both and kind of like get two different perspectives on each guest, which I think is pretty cool. So but anyway, so Tommy, before we get started with your experiences, I know you've already told me how you got started in the podcast, but for anybody that doesn't know, and obviously listeners of my show that might not listen to yours, you want to tell everybody what got you interested and started on making your own podcast?
Well, I started listening to podcasts myself about, it's got to be 5-6 years ago, and I just loved it, and it just become a part of my weekly routine. And we listen to similar shows as well. I know we spoke before.
Yeah.
Sasquatch Chronicles, The Confessional, shows like that, because I've always loved the paranormal subject. And I just thought to myself, you know what, one day I'd like to do that. I'd like to be in someone's schedule, in their weekly schedule, where they come every week and they can just listen to the show, forget about everything else, which is what I do. And I just wanted to be that for someone else. So that's what really was the thing that made me want to do it. And I've been loving it, man.
Yeah, I can tell that you have fun with it. The last guy you had on, Jody Cook, he was a pretty interesting guy.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Yeah.
Anyway, so going back, so we'll start with your experiences, if you can, kind of like, we'll start with the earliest that you can remember.
Yeah. Well, so we lived in a haunted house when I was a boy.
Like completely haunted, like poltergeist, or
nothing was, saying there was always weird noises in the house all the time. There was a weird noises, a weird vibe, you know, when you go into a haunted house and you can feel that energy.
Yeah.
It was like that all the time.
Wow.
We all felt it, but we stayed there for quite a while, to be honest. We was there for a few years. And it wasn't until we left the house that we all really spoke about it. It was weird. Like, we all knew it at the time, but we never really spoke about it. And it wasn't until we left and my dad was like, you know what? I'm glad we got out of there, because it was bad. And so you'd hear noises all the time, and there was a weird vibe there. I never used to like being in rooms on my own and stuff like that. You know, you just always, I don't know what it was, just a really weird feeling. But the strangest thing that happened One of the scariest things I've experienced. I was 10 years old. I was me and my brother shared a room. We had bunk beds. I was on the top bunk. And I've woken up one night during the night, and you could sort of see in the room the street lights outside were coming in, so you could sort of see the room. You could make out where everything was in the room. Anyway, I've woken up. I've looked down at my desk, and there was a man sitting there at my desk. Wow. It wasn't my dad. And he was in, I would say he looked like William Shakespeare. That's how he looked to me. I don't think it was William Shakespeare, but he looked like he was from that era.
Right.
And I could just see him like perfectly sitting there, just sort of like this, just looking up towards me, but he wasn't moving or anything. His face wasn't changing. When I woke up and saw him, he didn't acknowledge me or anything. He didn't change, but he was just there. And I just remember screaming. I called my mum into the room. I was like, "Mum, there's a man sitting there. There's a man sitting there." And she couldn't see him. She just, there's no one there. There's nothing there. She went up to it, was sort of touching around the area. He didn't move. He didn't move at all. And he didn't disappear or anything. He stayed there. And my mum was just calmed me down. And I ended up staying in that room that night, which I can't believe. I can't believe I stayed in the room. My brother didn't wake up, bearing in mind I was going crazy.
Not even when your mother came in, he didn't wake up?
No, he didn't wake up.
Wow, man, I wish I could sleep like that.
No, he's still like that, to be fair.
Jeez.
He still sleeps like that. But yeah, and I was just terrified. And I think I was quite a bad sleeper when I was a kid.
Yeah. So
I used to get up quite a lot and try and get in my mum and dad's room.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were just like, "No, you're not." They just thought I was trying one, I think. But yeah, they made me stay in the room that night. And I just remember the man never left the desk. He was there all night. And I just got under my covers, and I just remember sweating because I was so scared. I didn't want to look. I just stayed there all night, and somehow I fell asleep. I woke up the next morning. He wasn't there then, but yeah, that was terrifying.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially at that age, to have a strange man, period, being inside your room, and then your mother coming in and she doesn't even see him. So when she was touching around the area, did her hands or anything go like through him, or?
I just remember her walking up to where he was and sort of feeling around and him not moving. I couldn't say if she was going through him or not, but he didn't move.
Yeah.
And yeah,
he had no like facial reaction to her being right there.
No, he
just
didn't
eyes
change.
Locked right on you.
They were just, I don't even know if he was looking at me. It was just sort of like this, looking in my direction. And he didn't blink, it didn't change. But I could see that he was wearing like a brownie sort of, wasn't a suit, but it was whatever, the Shakespeare sort of look. No, that's not the best. I should know the era, but
right.
He had like long hair. He had a bit of a beard. It just freaks me out just thinking about like just waking up and seeing it, man. It was just terrifying.
I probably would have had the same exact reaction, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
great. I can still see it. I can still see it like exactly how it was. And
wow.
Yeah, man. It was, but I never saw that man again. That was it. That was the one time he came that night, and never saw him again. Other weird stuff happened in that house. Right. I never saw that man again.
Wow. And how many siblings do you have?
So it's just me and my brother.
Just you and your brother?
He was in the room as well at the time, but he didn't wake up somehow. Because I was screaming.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Oh man, just to be able to sleep, like looking at it now. I mean, I could sleep fairly well as a child. I think so. like you talking about going to your trying to get in your parents' bed. There was one incident that I remember trying to get in my parents' bed. I was sleeping on top bunk too, and I fell out of bed.
Oh wow.
So I woke up to hitting the floor, and
Oh no.
I just remember going in to my parents' room and being like, "Hey, I fell out of bed," and I was crying, and they were just like, "Yeah, go to bed," and I was just like, "What?" But I fell out of bed, so then I fell asleep in their doorway.
Wow. That's
And
quite a big fall as well. The bunk beds are high, man.
yeah, no shit. That was around that time, that story that my sister and I told you on the um where we saw the shadow figures
Yeah.
flying
Yeah.
by the windows.
Yeah.
That was in that same house.
Oh
Was
wow.
then. So obviously I don't think falling out of bed was a paranormal thing, but I just,
Yeah.
when you said that you were trying to get into your parents, you're always trying to get into your parents' bed, like
Yeah.
instantly that was the first thing I thought of for myself. So
Yeah, I was bad for it. And I think that's why my mum was so adamant that I wasn't going in her room and I was staying in that bed.
mm-hmm.
Because I spoke to her not long ago about it. I was like, why did you leave me in that room? Because that was out of order. I was terrified. And she said, listening, because she'll listen to this, she listens to all the shows and stuff. She says now, like, she feels so guilty because she can remember it. She can remember me calling her in the room and being hysterical.
Yeah.
And she says, like, she feels so bad that she left me in there. But I said, it's all right now, you know.
I
So,
mean, you were fine. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I left my daughter in her room when she was crying that a black cat was gonna get her, and I'm like, "There's no black cat here." So
yeah.
I mean, I
It's mad,
think,
isn't it, when your kids say something. Because I
yeah,
get it now. My kids, they say that they think something's in their room. And even with what I do and what I see,
mm-hmm.
I'm still like, no, you know, and I should take more notice, really.
You remember when we were talking to you on your show, and I was talking about the shadow figures that I see in this house that I'm living in now in the
Yeah,
hallway, and
yeah,
then I was like, "Oh, my daughter is looking at me
yeah.
funny."
Yeah.
It was like a couple days after that, she's like, "I see shadow people in the hallway," and I was like,
Oh no.
are you
Oh no.
actually, or are you just saying that because you heard me talking about it?"
Yeah,
She's
that
like,
was
"No."
funny when that happened.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm in the middle of talking, and I can see the figure out of the corner of my eye, and I look up, and she's just like,
Yeah. I know I've got the same problem because my kids hear something that I've recorded or something,
yeah,
and they're like, "What's that mean?" And I'm like, "Ah, you don't need to know yet." It's hard to keep them from it, isn't it? But
yeah,
they're gonna see it. We
yeah,
did.
yeah. It's better not to. I feel like in my opinion, it's better not to. What's the word? Shelter them. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, you don't expose them to everything right away, but um allow them to explore and experience, and when they have questions, answer them
yeah,
the
yeah, for
best way
sure.
that you can
Yeah,
without being like traumatizing about it.
yeah, yeah. It's difficult, and it is a difficult one.
It sure is. It's been a ride being a parent, right?
Yeah, man.
You- you-
My eldest is 11 now,
yeah,
so it's getting to that age where she's asking those difficult questions.
and you have two girls, right?
I've got two girls and a boy. Yeah,
And a
got
boy.
three.
Oh shoot, I
Yeah,
forgot you had three.
yeah.
That's
I
right.
am well and truly in trouble.
That's funny.
Yes, I've got an
um
11-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 3-year-old. Yeah,
wow, and you got a dog that makes dinosaur noises.
and a puppy. Yeah, yeah. He's the hardest one out of all of them, to be honest. It's hard work.
I bet he looks a lot like my dog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Same
Your dog's
color and
lovely.
everything. Uh,
Yeah.
is he what breed exact?
He's a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. So
Yes, that's
it's,
what mine is.
oh really? Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
She's gonna be 9 in July, so
Oh, cool, man.
yeah.
I love all dogs.
Me too,
I
man.
really do.
I do too. And they see shit,
100%.
which I think is interesting. Like I told you that. Oh, this is another or I could come back on your show. No, actually, I'll just tell you. So I was in bed the other night, and I had my shirt was I was laying there, and my back was out of the blanket, and my shirt was up a little bit,
Yeah.
and I just felt like somebody grabbed my shirt and start lowering it down to
Oh
cover
man.
my back because my back was exposed.
Oh wow.
And I was just like, oh, what the fuck?
Oh, did you see anything? Oh,
I didn't see anything. I didn't even turn around. I knew my dog was there, but
yeah,
obviously she can't grab a hold of my shirt and pull it down,
yeah, man.
especially slowly like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's freaky.
So that is freaky.
Do you
So
find talking? Sorry.
no, go ahead.
Do you find talking about, because I've had a lot of experiences throughout my life, but I feel like as soon as I started doing the podcast and talking to people, more stuff seems to happen. Do you think when you're more open to stuff that things can happen?
Yeah, I think so. I think it talking about it, and you know, you're kind of like breaking out of the matrix because
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
allowing yourself to realize that something is going on.
yeah,
Um,
100%.
you know, I don't think there's been a whole entire year where I haven't seen something in
Yeah,
my entire life. Well, especially when it started. So
yeah.
I think the very first time was that time with my sister, and I was 5. So, and I don't really remember anything before I was 5. So who knows if I experienced anything there. But I did. So there's a woman that I had on an earlier episode. Her name's Dramessa. She gave me contact information for a massage therapist who also does past life regression. So she like gives you a massage as she like feels your like being and your spirit and stuff, and she does the therapy while she's giving you a massage, which I think is pretty cool.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna try that and see what
Yeah,
happens.
that's interesting.
And then she gave me information for a shaman who does fire walks because she thinks that I need to connect with all of the elements when fire is one that I've been lacking, which I usually have like I usually have fires outside and stuff, and I haven't had any fires at all this year. I did when I went camping, and that was it.
Yeah.
So like I haven't been connecting all 4 elements throughout my life, and so when I did the Reiki healing and all that, she was like, "Well, your connection to spirit isn't severed; it's just dimmed, and you need to
Interesting.
connect the elements and to kind of like break your pattern and to elevate your soul and to open your frequency."
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, man.
So have you ever done anything like regression therapy at all? Anything like that?
No, I haven't. No, no. My dad has.
Yeah.
My dad. He had. Oh, what's it called? Reiki. He had Reiki done on him,
Yep.
and he was having it done because he gets this psoriasis on his skin,
Yep.
and this was just something that they said might work, and he was having it done, and he said during the therapy he started to feel himself swing side to side. He could feel it. He wasn't moving. He was just laying there, but you could feel it. And then he started feeling like a sharp pain in his chest as well. Something, and he told the lady that was doing the therapy, and she said, "Don't worry, you're just experiencing your past life injuries. You were hung in a past life, and you were shot in a past life." Yeah, and my dad was like, "Okay." Yeah, so he had that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know what he'd done in his past life to be hung and shot, and yeah, but
Well, I mean, back further, and depending on what era he was in, you could have been shot or hung for pretty much anything.
yeah,
You didn't necessarily need to be a bad person.
yeah, true. Yeah.
So Maybe they thought he was a witch, and they're like, "Let's hang him." So going back to your haunted house, what other things
Yes.
did you experience? Actually, before we ask you what else you experienced, so you hear this a lot with families. They don't really talk about it in the moment and
Yeah.
until after, which you had just stated earlier. So I was curious, did your brother ever tell you that about anything that he experienced?
He had an experience in the same room.
The same exact bedroom where William Shakespeare was?
Yeah, the same room. He woke up one night as well as during the night, and he woke up and he said that he saw two red eyes, and that's all he could see was two red eyes.
Wow.
And he just said they just started coming towards him, and obviously he was terrified, and then they just disappeared. But that was an experience that he had that I don't know if he shared with me, if he shared it at the time, or if it was more of a recent thing that he told me that happened. Obviously talking about, but I think he must have said it at the time that had happened. But we recently spoke about it. Obviously, he heard me talking about it on the show,
right?
And yeah, so he had that experience. I saw something else in that house as well. So I was in my mum and dad's room, and they had like mirrors in their room. So I was just in there mucking about, just playing. And I was playing about, and a naked lady walked past me. And I saw in my peripheral, I can't even say it.
Peripheral.
My peripheral vision. Yeah. God blimey. It is 2:00 in the morning here.
Yeah. You get a pass. You get a pass.
I get a pass. Yeah. So I saw a naked lady walk past me, and I just thought it was my mum, because it was a blonde lady. My mum's blonde. I just thought my mum would walk past me. I saw it like in my peripheral. I can't even say it again. Walk past me, and I've just gone, Mum. Just started talking to her, and this lady's gone past me and gone into the bathroom in their room, and I've just got, Mum, I've just started talking, just thought she was there. Walked in the bathroom and there was no one there, and I was like, what? I just couldn't believe it, because I saw her walk past me, and I've gone downstairs. My mum's fully clothed, and she was like, what? I was like, a naked lady just walked past me in your bedroom. She was like, it wasn't me.
She's like, get the fucking guns.
She's
a crazy lady in the
house. So that was really strange as well. So that was something else that I actually saw in that house.
Wow, dude, that's you. Well, you obviously saw it in your peripheral, so you didn't get like a good description, but you could tell that obviously you could tell it was blonde and she was naked. Yeah,
that's it.
Okay.
And it was so, because it was just a solid, like the man in the room. It was a solid. He was just a solid form. Like it wasn't see-through or anything like that. It was solid, just like how me and you are now. And this lady was as well. So it was like a solid. It was mad. It really was mad.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I would have been like, what the fuck? Don't leave me in this house alone anymore.
Yeah, I know, but that's what it was like in that house. Like if you got left, we didn't get left in there because we was young when we was there. But whenever you was on your own, like I remember this one time, I didn't see anything, but our school was quite close to the house, and my dad was at work, and I was off sick. I think I was off sick from school, and my brother was at school, and my mum went to pick him up, and she was like, "You're going to be all right on your own here for 1 minute, literally 1 minute." And I was like, okay. And I just remember she was gone, and I was in this house on my own. And I just remember being so scared. It was during the day, but I was just so scared. It was just a weird vibe there, man.
Yeah.
It really was.
I can imagine.
And when we left that house, my dad was like, yeah, I heard weird noises all the time and had weird feelings all the time.
Wow.
But I don't think my mum and dad actually saw anything, because I've spoke to them recently about it again, and they they never actually saw anything, but they just had that weird
feelings.
and seeing, like, hearing things and stuff.
Did you ever like see like did you ever have items like go missing and then turn up in places that you would never have put them?
No, I can't remember. I mean, possibly I can't remember that happening, but
Okay.
yeah, I can't remember that happening. I just remembered there's weird noises all the time.
Yeah.
It was always if something was there, you know. I
Mhm.
remember I remember laying in bed, and sometimes I would change which side I laid. And this one time I was laying towards my door, and you could see like the hallway because I used to leave the door open. And I just remember thinking, like, just getting that feeling that something was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
It was
exactly
just,
what you mean.
yeah, it was just a horrible feeling.
Yeah, I was actually talking about this exact thing with Phil in my last episode that I just put out,
Yeah,
and we were talking about how because I get to work super early in the morning, and sometimes I have to get out of the truck to open gates to get inside the job sites and all that shit. And there's
yeah,
this one particular spot that is in the middle of the woods. It's a gravel sand pit, and I got to get out to unlock the gate and open it so I can drive through. And every time I'll open the gate, I'll hook the gate so it stays open. And on my way back to the truck, I'll just have this feeling that something's watching me. And then as I'm getting the closer I get to the truck, the faster I start moving because I'm like, what if it's coming up on me? And then I
yeah,
just like
yeah,
run up the
yeah,
steps into the truck and shut the door as
yeah.
fast as I can. And I'll look out the window and I'm like, nothing's there,
Yeah.
dude.
There's got to be something to that. There's got to be a sense that we have, you know,
Yeah.
that triggers that off.
Yeah, that goes back in our DNA, back into our primal state.
Yeah,
There's got to be something with that, which
yeah.
makes me. How tall are you?
So I am 5'8", I
Oh,
believe.
okay,
So
all right.
I'm not really tall, but average size, I like to say.
Because they say people with Viking DNA, they're obviously they're taller, like in the 6 foot range. But so they used to eat mushrooms, like the psilocybin ones, like the hallucinogenic or whatever,
Yeah,
and they would like microdose, and it would like bring out this like rage, and that's when they were like pillaging and all this stuff. So I was just curious, because it's becoming more of like it's almost like I think they're trying to legalize it, maybe, which is kind of weird, at least here.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
have you ever tried?
I haven't, but
Yeah,
I've noticed recently that there's been a lot of TV shows and documentaries, I would say, promoting it
yeah,
and sort of, because even me, I'm not never done any drugs, to be honest.
okay.
Even me watching these documentaries, I'm like, I want to try mushrooms because it sounds brilliant.
It does. Um,
So they're selling it. They seem to be
yeah, they sell
trying
it.
to push it.
They sell it in chocolates too.
Really?
The hallucinogenic kind, the psilocybins. So I tried it once, and this was in this house, and the only thing that happened was like things like my walls and my floor looked like they were vibrating.
Okay.
That's it. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't take a lot, but I've always known. So once I found out that mushrooms were actually like a health benefit, just like obviously not the hallucinogenic ones, but the regular ones
Yeah.
that are edible, um, they have a lot of benefits for your mind, body, and all that. Your actually helps with memory, rejuvenating brain cells and all that. So I eat mushrooms all the time. So I was like, well, I mean, I know it's like a drug, and people have talked about having bad trips or whatever, but I feel like there's something to it
Yeah.
that might be beneficial. I don't know exactly. I mean, I haven't done a lot of research, but then you got The Last of Us, which is all about mushrooms in your brain and going making you go crazy.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
feel like I mean, I know that it was a video game, and I love the video game, and the
Yeah.
show is exactly like the video game.
Yeah, I just finished it tonight, actually.
Did you?
Brilliant show. Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if they like did that to be like, this is what you could happen if you eat mushrooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've
Yeah.
heard people be like, "Oh, I'm never eating a mushroom again after watching it," you know.
Oh,
So,
so would you say they're trying to put you off of
yeah,
it? Okay. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm thinking, kind
Yeah.
of. But have you ever heard of the mushroom bob?
No.
So it's this huge ass mushroom. Um, I don't know it, and maybe it's not bob, but there's a big mushroom that they've found in the ground. Um,
I think I have actually.
yeah,
Yes.
and then
It's
there's
massive.
yeah, maybe it's in the ocean. I don't know if it or if it's another one. And they started drilling through it to get to oil, and like it like just broke off a chunk of it somewhere else and caused a huge ass tsunami.
Yeah.
I wonder if we live on a mushroom.
Yeah, man. It was. Isn't there a? I'm sure there's a forest in the US somewhere where the whole of the ground is like just one big giant mushroom. I'm sure I've heard this somewhere. I can't remember.
I think you're right. I can't obviously off the top of my head I can't think of anything, but the only story that I can recall is that one where they found it in the ocean.
Yeah.
And it was humongous. It was a big ass mushroom.
Yeah, man.
But so I found that interesting. But
Yeah.
so not to get too far off topic, anyways. So where did you go from after the haunted house? Where'd you go from there?
We left that house. I think I was 12 when we left that house. So not too long, a couple of years after my first big experience there. And the house that we went to after that, there was no weird feelings. It was straight away I think we all felt more comfortable straight away. So there was definitely something to that house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right next to a graveyard as well. It was literally
the haunted house.
The haunted house, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So we all said that possibly you're close to obviously that.
Mm-hmm.
Could spirits just come in and but who knows? But so that
anything's possible, I guess.
Yeah. So the house we went to after that, it wasn't haunted. Few weird things happened more recently because my dad's only just left that house. A few weird things happened. We might get into that a bit later, but we went so around that sort of time that we moved house. This is probably when I was about 14. My nan and granddad were looking to buy a holiday home in the UK. And they wanted to be sort of in the countryside somewhere where we could all go on the weekends and stuff like that as a family, because they had a house before that they sold, which was probably haunted as well, actually, because it was like 1600s or whatever it was, and it was a freaky house. I never saw anything in there, but it was a freaky house.
I feel like every house in the UK, it has like a really good potential to be haunted, just because I mean, you guys have way more history of people being around over there, you know what I mean? So you have more souls that have passed in your area.
Yeah, there's a lot of old buildings and castles and But we went to another house, and this was in it was in Norfolk Way in the UK, which is sort of countryside-y sort of place. And so the whole family's gone down there for the day to see this house that they wanted to buy. And it was on the market for quite a good price, I think, because it was a big house and they were only buying it as like a holiday home. And I think it was a good deal, which is fishy straight away. When you've got a nice house, why is it cheap,
Yeah.
So we've all gone down, the whole family's gone down there, my uncles, my aunt, obviously my mum and dad, me and my brother, and we've all gone to this house. And as soon as we went into this house, all of us got this horrible feeling. It was just such a weird vibe. There was the estate agent was showing us around, and there was the lady that that lived there with her. She had like a young child with her as well, a young baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her husband was away, and she was showing us around the house as well. And it was a massive house. It was quite a big house. It had all little tunnels, like secret tunnels where like maids used to work in there back in the day.
Oh, wow.
It was a big, nice house. But we all said, me and my brother looked at each other and was like, no, we ain't staying here. So I remember my nan went to me, oh, this can be your room, boys, when you stay. You can have this as your room. And me and my brother was like, nah, we are not sleeping on our own. No way. And we said it straight away while we was in the house. We were saying it, me and my brother. But my nan and granddad liked it, and they was going to buy it. They was going to put an offer in for it. And as we left, all the family was saying, yeah, that's haunted. There's something not right about it. But if they want to buy it, you know, it's up to them. And my granddad was at an event a week later. He hadn't put in an offer, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, he might have done. I'm not sure actually. But he was at an event a week later, and nobody knew about this house. Nobody knew that the family was going to buy this house. And my granddad was talking to this guy, and he turned to my granddad and he said, Ron, I don't know why I'm saying this to you, but I've got a message for you. I don't know why I'm saying this to you. I don't know what it means, but Ramsey danger. I'm getting goosebumps saying this now.
Oh my God.
But he went to my granddad, Ramsey danger. I don't know what it means, but I've got to tell you that. And my granddad was like, that's the name of the village where the house is, Ramsey.
Yeah.
And this guy said Ramsey danger.
Oh, wow.
So my granddad didn't buy the house. That was enough. That was enough for him to go, you know what? They're saying they get a weird feeling from it. He's just said that. And I'm not sure who this guy was to my granddad, but he didn't know about it. He didn't know that we looked at this house and was going to buy it. So, yeah, that was really strange.
That is strange.
Yeah.
I wonder what would have happened if they would have.
Yeah.
Bought it.
To this day, I think.
Maybe, I mean, maybe it's a good. I mean, maybe it's probably a good thing that they didn't. But it just makes me a little curious. Like,
yeah, I'd like to know what would have happened.
Obviously, you don't want anything bad to happen, but you know, it's curiosity kills the cat. So, I mean, maybe it's better left alone, but it just makes you like think like what could have happened?
Yeah. What was stopping it? Yeah, it's mad. But it gave me goosebumps.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine.
It's just so mad. But like, I do want to know what would have happened. But
yeah,
I can't. We just didn't want to stay there though. Me and my brother was like, we are not staying on our own in this house. So we would have seen stuff, I'm sure.
Oh, I mean, if something was contacting a random person to tell your grandfather that it was dangerous, then I mean, for you to get weird vibes to be in the house to begin with, it makes sense.
Yeah.
To me, to be like, fuck that place.
Yeah. You got to take notice of that sort of thing.
Did they end up buying a house for a holiday anywhere?
They didn't actually. No, they didn't.
Oh man,
so that sort of put them off. Yeah, because as I said before, they did have a house before that they sold, and I don't know why they sold it, because it was a nice, really old house. It was a nice house, but they obviously wanted to be in a different area or something. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Wow. All right. Yeah. So, going forward, I think your next one would be when you came back from university.
Yes. Yeah. So that was a shadow person experience.
Yeah.
And so I was 21 when this happened. I'd just come back from university. Me and my brother, this was in the house that we moved into after the haunted house, where I said weird things happen later.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was never before this. Nothing happened in that house that made me think it was haunted. Me and my brother shared a room again. This time we had my dad had a loft conversion, and me and my brother had our own little area upstairs. So it was a bigger space for us, but we still shared a room. And I've woken up during the night again, and there was a man standing over me. Like, I could just see the silhouette though. He was darker than the room, and the silhouette of this man was just standing over me, and I was just so scared. Like, I woke up and I was like, oh, and I've got so scared. I've just tried to punch it because I actually thought it was my brother. I thought it was my brother messing about, but he scared the crap out of me. So I've tried to punch it, and it's disappeared. It's gone. But I've obviously made a bit of a noise when I've done this because my brother's turned the light on the other side of the room, and he's gone, "Bruv, what's the matter? What's the matter? Calm down, calm down." And I'm like, I thought you were standing over me, and my heart's beating, and I was terrified. And I just put it down to being tired. I said, I've just got back from uni. I've probably been drinking too much the day before or whatever, and I just put it down to that, to being stressed, whatever. I was like, okay, that's what it was. And it wasn't until doing the podcast and hearing people talk about their shadow people experiences, I was like, you know what? I think that's what I experienced, because it was darker than the room, exactly how you'd explain a shadow person, darker than the room. You can just see the silhouette. And I just put it, and I was like, okay, so I've had that experience. And then recently, in the last, it's probably five months now, I've seen two shadow people in the house that I'm in now.
Oh,
the same situation, waking up, and it's there looking over me. But this time I've got my wife next to me, and I'm not as scared as I was.
right.
It happened when I was 21, which I find really strange. I don't know if that's because I'm talking about it all the time, but it's still scary. It's still like, whoa, but it's not like that real fear that I had before.
Well, it's probably because you have more of an understanding now.
Yeah,
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
But that's interesting because I think when we were on your show, you had said you hadn't seen any in a while. So that must have been like super recent, right?
Yeah. It must have been. It must have been in that gap. Yeah. Because it happened twice.
Wow, twice. So,
Yeah.
I actually was I had Mrs. Spooky Obsessed on Vicky. Her episode's actually coming out this Wednesday. So by the time this one comes out, it'll be 2 weeks from her episode. So 2 weeks ago, I talked to Mrs. Spooky Obsessed, and we talked about shadow figures. So when her and I were messaging back and forth, you know, I was asking her if she had any experiences, and she's like, yeah. And she's like, have you? And I was like, yeah, I'm actually staring at a shadow press sitting on my bed in the dark. And I was like, I'm actually staring at one right now because I could see it in the hallway.
Why?
And she's like, you know, if you tell it to go away, it'll go away. I was like, yeah, but they never really do anything. Like I'm to the point where it doesn't even like do anything to me anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She told me that in like Mexican lore or whatever, urban Mexican legends, probably whatever, however you want to phrase it. They are shadow figures are said to be like entities of witches. So like witches would curse you, and the shadow people would be basically there to haunt you and to fuck with you and stuff like that. And I was like, I haven't really experienced a shadow figure that did anything. They always were just standing there.
Yeah.
And obviously when I was a kid, it scared the shit out of me. Like I told you on your show, like especially in my grandparents' basement, I'd be like trying to sing a song as I'm like, you're not gonna hurt me if I'm singing a song, you know. So but yeah, no,
he was on, and you could just see it there.
Yeah, because I had just messaged her, and I sent it, and then I looked up, and it was standing there in the doorway. So this was like 3 feet away from me.
Oh man, how
And
big is it?
It probably like around my size. It looked like, and it
Yeah,
just was like, so it was only like half of it,
yeah.
just kind of like standing there in the doorway, and I'm like, oh, hey. And then she messaged me about, have I seen anything? And I'm looking at it, and then I look down to her message about my, like, asking me about if I experienced anything. I was like, yeah, I've experienced a lot of things. I'm actually staring at a shadow figure right now.
Wow, wow, man.
So shit. And then I was like, you can go away now. And then I just kind of like put my phone on the charger and put it down. And then when I looked back up, it was gone. So
Wow.
that was crazy.
Yeah, man.
But I see them all the time. My daughter, like I told you, I was telling you earlier, my daughter says she sees them in the hallway. I'm not, I mean, maybe she has, because I see them all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a good possible chance, but I also feel like she just heard me talking about it. So, but
I actually had. I don't think I've spoken about this on any other show. I
ooh,
was,
Tommy Cullum
yeah,
exclusive on
got an
Where the Weird Ones
exclusive right
Are.
now. So this was not long ago. This is, say, a couple of months ago, or maybe a bit longer. I'm not sure, but so as I said, my kids often wake up during the night and tell me that they're scared and that they're seeing stuff, and I should listen to that more. But I there was a time when one of my daughters woke up and she was like, "Can you come and lay in our room?" And sometimes I'll go in there, I'll lay on the floor, wait for them to fall asleep, and I'll sneak out again. So I just done this. I've gone in there. I've got a little pillow and I've just laid on the floor and just waiting for them to fall back to sleep, and then I can sneak out. And I'm just looking down the hallway, and I said to myself, oh, imagine if a shadow person just walked up the stairs. How freaky would that be? And if it was just, I was just in podcast mode still and thinking about it all. And I'm just laying there, and all of a sudden, I don't know if I manifested this in my head or what, but I saw like just a face, just a black face, just coming towards me. But it was just a face. There was no body. It was literally, but I could sort of see where the eyes were, but I couldn't see color or anything. It was like a black color, and it was just not walking. It was like floating towards me. Wow. And I was just watching this for like a couple of minutes, and then it just disappeared. And I was like, what? And it just freaked me out because it didn't scare me as well. I was just watching it, just like, wow, but I wasn't scared, and that freaked me out as well. That I wasn't scared. I was like, why am I not scared?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Just fucking bit me.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
How close did it get to you before it dissipated?
Pretty close. Like, so the hallway's not massive. It sort of come round and was just floating towards me for a few minutes, and then just sort of faded away. But
wow.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Have you ever thought about cleansing your house?
I haven't. I should do, really. Doing what we do is quite important, I think.
Yeah, I think I should probably do that. I wonder well, I also don't want well, then again, cleansing would just be like negative spirits. So if that head was not a negative spirit, you'll probably see it again.
Yeah. I didn't get a bad feeling or anything like that. So.
All right. I mean, as long as it's not like not scary and harmful, but it is. Your girls are getting scared though, so you don't know if they're seeing something.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, 100% sure. Anyway, have they? I mean, they told you. Did you say that they told you that they see stuff?
Yeah, they do. They do say that they get scared a lot, and they say that they see stuff in their room sometimes. And I'm like, no, just, you're not seeing. You know how we you sort of try and because I don't want them thinking about scary stuff. It's hard, isn't it, at that age?
Right.
So yeah, possibly they are seeing stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I've spoke before about my eldest daughter when she was 4. My wife she'd been shopping and they were driving home, and they stopped at traffic lights. And my eldest daughter was she was 4 at the time. She was in the back of the car in her car seat, and she said to my wife, "What are those people over there, mummy, with sheets over their faces?" And my wife's looked, and it was just a building, just a brick wall building. So you couldn't see what it was. And my wife's like, "What are you talking about, Amy? There's nothing there." And she went, "No, mummy, I can see people with white sheets over their heads." My wife was like, "That's weird." Anyway, she's got home and she's told my mother-in-law about this, and they're like, "All right, let's Google and see what this was." And they've Googled it, looked into it, and it was a morgue.
No way.
Yeah.
That's why the sheets are over their faces.
Yeah. There's no way my little girl knows. She doesn't know what a morgue is, you know?
Right, at 4
You would never
especially.
know. Yeah, even now she doesn't know what that was, but and that was mad. Yeah.
That is, dude. Holy cow. That's crazy.
So I'm thinking maybe she's got some sort of some abilities. I don't know. Maybe. But that's weird, isn't it?
But yeah, the younger, I mean, when they're really young is when they're more open, they're innocent.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't been tarnished by the world yet.
Yeah.
So they're more apt to seeing stuff. And that's like the age too where people remember their past lives too. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's when you hear about kids saying like the weirdest shit about like being in like a war or something, and you're like, you're 4 years old. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So that's
true, man.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
And my other daughter, when she was about 18 months old, and we was on holiday at a place called Centre Parks in the UK, and it's basically like just log cabins that you stay in the middle of the forest. Nice places. And we were staying there for the weekend, and we woke up about 5:30 in the morning, and she was just starting to talk, my Ruby, and she was 18 months old, so she was saying like mum, dad, little things like that. And she pointed to the corner of the room, and it was a summer's day. It was a summer's morning, so it was light in the room. And she's pointing to the corner, and she's going, H, and H is my brother. So she's going to nothing, just the corner of the room, and it wasn't a massive room. She's going H, like she could see him. And I was like, that's really weird that she's doing this right now, because she was seeing someone that looks like my brother or my brother. So I called up my brother, made sure he was all right. He was fine. I was like, "You're all right, bruv," because Ruby can see you in our room. And yeah, he was fine. So that was really weird as well.
Oh wow.
She was definitely seeing something then.
Yeah, I'd say she definitely was.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
The kids see stuff. We both did as well when we were kids. So
That's true.
Yeah.
So, so what was it after? Was it the witch that came after this?
Yeah. So, in this house recently as well, I'll tell you this. We was all having dinner in our kitchen, and all the doors were shut, the windows were shut, and I saw a black cat run past me, and I jumped out my skin, and everyone was like, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" And I was like, "The cat's in the house." And this is before we had Blue the dog, so there was no dog. And I'm looking around the house because I saw a cat run past, a black cat. I definitely saw it. I'm looking all around the house, nothing there. So that was really weird as well. That happened recently as well. A ghost cat.
That's crazy. And you said you don't have a cat at all.
Don't have a cat, no.
Okay.
Yeah, there's cats in the neighborhood that got black cats in the neighborhood, but there was no cat in the house. And I saw one.
That's really interesting. Yeah. Did you know that black cats get bought are adopted around Halloween, and then as soon as Halloween is over, they get thrown out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a big statistic problem right now.
Don't like that, man.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know how people do that. I just don't.
I don't get it either. And it's
Ah.
only black. Well, I'm sure there's other. I'm sure it's cats in general that get thrown out, but like black cats will get adopted as the Halloween season is coming up, and as soon as the Halloween season is over, there's strays.
That's bad, man.
Mm.
It's always spooky season for us, anyway.
Yes, it is. Every day is Halloween.
Every day is Halloween.
So I was telling, Salem, Massachusetts, right?
Yep.
I was telling Phil that I think I want to do like a show inside the Salem Inn. So my ex-wife worked at the Salem Inn, and I guess one of the rooms is like super haunted. And I stood inside of this room, and like there's a painting above the bed, and the just staring at the painting made me uncomfortable.
Wow.
So I think it'd be like wicked sweet to talk to somebody and then possibly maybe pick up EVPs or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. And
I'd love to come over there with you, man, and do that.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. Yeah, I think I would like to do it either on Halloween night or the night before, because I think technically the night before they call it Beggars Night, or whatever. I don't know the 100% the history, but I want to say that there's more activity on that night than there is on actual Halloween. So,
okay.
I think
I'd love to go there, man. That's a dream to go there because it's such a cool place. How far are you from that?
I think an hour and a half.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and I'm like 2 hours ish from Phil.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, cool. Man.
Yeah. And he actually, before I even knew that he was on your show, he was talking to me about investigating with him.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, where'd this guy come from? You know what I mean? And and I talked to him a couple of times, and then I started seeing your promotions for his episode and stuff. I was like, oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
And then him and I continued to talk, and then I asked him, I was like, what do you think about coming on? He's like, yeah, I'd love to. And then I listened to half of the episode that you had with him, and then before the day that I talked to him, just to get like a gist of how he talked and stuff. And it was,
he's a cool guy, isn't he?
Yeah, it was wicked interesting. I stopped it right when he started talking about his uncle being in a haunted house, because I had just got home. So it was a good time to stop, because when he told the story, it was more like an organic reaction to it, and I was like, oh my god, no way.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. It's cool stuff, man.
Yeah, I think it's funny too, because I messaged you right after I listened to the rest of your episode, and I was like, he talked about the metal in the woods, and we both said the same shit.
Yeah.
We're all like, do you think that was like a Dogman or Portal?
Great minds think alike, man.
You're not wrong. Oh man,
because I told you I was in the forest the other day, and I heard the sound of metal, and I was like, I cracked myself. I was like, oh my god, it's about to happen. I'm about to see a Dogman. And then I realized it was the gate. Like, there's loads of metal gates in our forest, and someone just lifted the gate up.
Oh shit, that must have been a relief, though.
Yeah,
for you to realize.
But I sort of got excited for a moment.
Have you saw anything like any cryptid like creature?
I haven't. I'd love to. The dream is to see a Bigfoot one day. That is one of my dreams. But when we first moved here, so I'm pretty much from London, and I live about 2 hours away from London now. I live in Dorset. And when we first moved here, we live right next to a big forest, and some of the locals were telling me about, they call it the devil dog, which is basically the same description as a dog man. So people have seen this thing, they've heard it. Apparently you can smell it sometimes. It's got red eyes, and people, it's like a lore in this area that I never knew about till I moved here. And I was like, wow, I've got a dog man nearby. And I go there every day. I take my dog over there every day now, and I'm always looking about. But when we first moved here, I took the girls over and we went for a long walk. And my eldest, she suddenly freaked out. We was like in the middle of the forest. We was quite high up, and she freaked out and she said, "Dad, I've just seen," she said, "a Bigfoot." Right? And I've gone, okay. She knows I love Bigfoot. I've sometimes got the documentaries on, and sometimes they walk in and they'll see it, and I'll turn it off quickly because even that scares them really.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was like. No, you haven't seen a Bigfoot. She went, "Oh, I just saw yellow eyes." She explained it, and I sort of dismissed it. And I don't think I knew at this time. I didn't know about the dogman lore in the area, so I didn't put it down to anything. It was getting dark anyway, so we left the forest. But I'm now looking back, I think maybe she did see something. I don't know, but so maybe she's seen something.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I never heard of Dogman until I started listening to podcasts. You know, my son was super interested in Bigfoot, and we watched like Finding Bigfoot on Animal Planet.
Yeah.
And I'd just be like, this show is stupid. Like, this is who the fuck would think that Bigfoot is real and this and that. And then, like, I don't know, when I did that regression therapy that I told you about on your show, and I remembered that. And then shortly after that, that and during the time that my son was watching this show, I saw, the coyote cross the road, and then I saw the red eyes in the woods, and then I'm just like, well, maybe there's more to this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the idiot.
The dogman lore seems to be something that's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it does. It seems to be everywhere. Yeah. I'm actually headed to I'm going to be headed to, by the time I put this out, I would already be there, have been there and gone, came back already. But so this will come out. I'll be posting this on Wednesday, April. For the first is Saturday, second, third, fourth. So April 5th is when this will come out. So, so I'll speak in past tense. So this past weekend, I went to the Encounter Quest, and it was so much fun. But no, I'm going to Hamlet, North Carolina for Encounter Quest, where they have speakers about UFOs, aliens, Bigfoot,
awesome.
cryptid stuff, and so I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, man.
So I'm gonna have to probably, since I'm talking about it, I'll probably put it in the intro about how it went and stuff.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm.
You have to take the mic down there. Take the mic down there. You might be able to get a few. Juicy interviews.
Possibly. There's gonna be a couple podcasters down there.
Yeah, cool, man.
So, and there's actually two of the guests that I have had on are gonna be there. So that'll be fun. Get to meet them in person. Bring them their t-shirts, because I had t-shirts made for them. And I was gonna mail them to them, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to North Carolina now, so
save the money, man.
Just take it. So, what else? Did we talk about the witch?
No, we haven't yet. No.
Oh, okay.
So I had sleep paralysis. Bad. So this is going back in my old flat before I moved here. I used to get paralysis at least once a week, sometimes more. And you've had it as well, haven't you? It's a
Yes,
terrifying experience. Like
it
when you're in
is.
that moment, it's nasty. And I used to get it. Obviously, you can't move, you can't speak, I couldn't turn my head or anything. I was just completely paralyzed, and just this weird sensation, vibration, feeling going through me. And when I was in this state, I there was a dark entity in the room that I couldn't see. I couldn't turn to look at it, but I knew it was there, and I could see it in my mind's eye. And it was just this black, evil shape that I couldn't even tell you what shape. It was just like a massive black smudge. Just I can't even explain it. But in my mind, I was like, "This is a witch." Like I just knew that's what it was. And whatever this thing was, I'm fighting it when I'm in this state. I'm fighting to get out. I'm swearing at it. And eventually it goes, and you sort of come out of it. And this happened, as I said, once, twice a week for years in the old house, in the old flat.
Just the paralysis, or was the entity present as well?
So it was always when I was in the paralysis state.
Right.
So I'd be laying there trying to go to sleep, and I'd get this vibration. I wouldn't be asleep, and then it would happen. So sometimes people say it's during sleep. It's definitely not through sleep, during sleep for me.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
me neither.
Yeah, it's before you go to sleep. You're still awake, you're still thinking. And I always got this weird vibration feeling before it happened. I always knew it was going to happen. My body it was sort of like it would be like this, if that makes any sense.
I think I know what you're talking about. Like you feel it inside of your body.
Yeah, and it's actually quite a nice feeling.
Yeah, and it kind of like stems up to your brain.
Yeah, and it just goes through you, and you can feel, and it's quite a nice feeling. And you're laying there, and I'm like, but I know what's coming, and what's coming is not nice. And it's getting this, and it gets worse and worse. And then all of a sudden, you can't move. You're finding it hard to breathe. I find it hard to breathe when I'm in that state, and then you feel the presence in the room. You just feel it, and you can see it. I can see it in my mind's eye what it is, and it's just this horrible black mass of something that in my head is a witch. And I don't know what that means. I don't know why I'm thinking like that. I didn't even look into it at the time. I just sort of, it is what it is. I put it down to stress at work and stuff like that. That's all I put it down to. Didn't tell anyone about it. Didn't tell my wife or anyone about it. It just so I might have mentioned it a little bit, but I didn't make a big deal of it.
Right. Well, that's because you're a man and nobody fucking listens.
That's what we do. Yeah. 100%. No, it's true. It's true.
We don't have people to talk to.
Yeah. I saw a witch in my room last night. Like, a big deal.
Yeah. Cry about it.
Get over it. But this is something I experienced a lot. And it was always terrifying. It was never a good experience. It was always terrifying. And it wasn't until, again, doing the podcast, hearing other people talk about it, looking into it more, and then the hag came up. I was hearing that was quite a common thing, that when you're in the paralysis state, a lot of people say that they feel like it's a witch, hag, and it's got a name, that they call it the hag.
Yeah, it's like an old lady that kind of just is present with you and is either sitting near you or something like that.
And I found that crazy that was actually something that a lot of people have experienced. And that's when I sort of put it down to being a paranormal thing.
Yeah.
Because I never used to. I used to just think, oh, I'm just stressed. It was obviously weird.
Right.
I just, And then.
Yep, go ahead.
It stopped when I moved here. I'd not had it. So I've been here now. I've been here now for a year and 2 months, and I've not had it until recently. Like, I don't know if when we had spoke, I'd had it. I think I'd had it again at that sort of time.
Yeah. I actually think this might have been what you were talking about when you said that you hadn't experienced in a while wasn't the shadow figures. I think that it was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
paralysis thing that
yeah.
you
That's
had
it.
said.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
what
then,
happened with this recent one?
so then the same thing happened again. Same feeling, but it was a different entity this time.
Oh, okay.
It was, and again, I don't know if this is because I've been talking to people about it. It was the same, exactly the same experience. I couldn't move, getting all the same feelings. Can't breathe properly. It's a horrible feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And but in my mind's eye this time, it's like a massive evil wolf sort of creature.
Oh,
And
geez.
yeah, and I can see it again. I can't look around the room, but I can just you just know it. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
And
I think you should definitely cleanse your house now.
yeah, man. Well, yeah. So that happened. It happened in the space of like 3 days. So I think it happened on a Friday night, and then it happened again on the Sunday or the Monday. But so it was a close thing.
Wow.
And it's not happened, touch wood, since we last spoke. Then it's not happened. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird how it happened again. Because
Yeah.
I then once I moved here, I put it down to just being in that flat.
Yeah.
So there must have been a reason why it was happening there. And maybe it was because it was a different entity. But
Mm-hmm.
when it happened again here, I was like, oh no, please don't tell me this is going to start happening regularly now again. But
Yeah.
touch wood, it hasn't. It's just been so I don't know why that was. I don't know what brought that back on. It's strange, but
Yeah, that is strange, man.
yeah,
Holy fuck.
yeah. So I'm hoping it's not.
I I hope I don't see your name in some like newspaper clipping of something crazy happening to
Yeah,
you.
hope not, man. But I obviously listen to the show, so this is a something that I do now. So I believe in God,
Yep.
and listening to shows, people say when you're in this position, if you say the name Jesus, these things seem to respond and leave you alone.
Mm.
So when it's happened recently, I've done that, and that has worked. So going forward, if I'm ever in that position, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, touch wood, as I say, it's not happened.
Yeah. And what helps though is that you believe in it. Like if you're just saying it just to say it, nothing's gonna happen.
Mm.
You know what I mean? If you're
Yeah,
just like, I'm gonna say this because it's supposed to work, you know, and that's
yeah,
also a thing that I've learned by listening to a lot of these podcasts. Like if your intention, everything is intention, but if you don't believe in what you're saying or what you're doing,
yeah.
then
You can
like
say it, but you got to believe it and mean it.
exactly. So like you're using Jesus's name, you gotta 100% be like into it and
Yeah,
understand the meaning and have 100% belief and faith.
yeah,
So, and I think faith is a lot bigger than religion, in my opinion. Like, I think, honestly, I don't think um, any religion is incorrect, and I don't think any religion is 100% correct. I think every religion has a little piece of something.
yeah, yeah,
So, yeah, man, that's a wild story, bro. I think a good Archangel Michael prayer might help you over
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. As
So,
I say, touch wood, it's not happened since. So that was a couple of months ago now, I think. So
okay.
that's yeah,
All right. So that's good then.
yeah,
That's good. But that it is scary that they were so close that it happened twice so close together.
yeah, yeah. I don't know why that would have happened, but
Hmm.
it's weird, man. And it was a different entity
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
freaky stuff.
That is freaky. So it goes good with your podcast name.
Yeah.
So, you change your the days that you air your show now. What days did you
Yes.
change it to?
So I was dropping them on a Thursday,
Mhm.
and I wanted to change it and put it at the start of the week. So now it's like early Tuesday,
Okay.
but I'm looking to do 2 a week.
You did
That's-
do 2 last week, so I was expecting a second one this
Yeah, I
week.
know a lot of people message me saying, where's the second one?
I don't know how many times I clicked on your show
Oh.
logo today, trying to
man.
trying to see if there was another one. Because
I am gonna be putting 2 a week out going forward.
Okay.
But a lot of people was messaging me like, "What's going on, man? It's Thursday." Oh, I feel bad.
It's all right. It's all right. There's another one too that kept saying that they were dropping an episode today too, and I went into their thing like 20 times. Every time I'd go into theirs and see that their episode wasn't in, I was like, well, let's see if Tommy has one.
I'm gonna try and put 2 out next week.
All right. So you just interviewed Jess recently.
Yes.
What'd you think about her?
Oh, it's really cool.
Yeah,
Really
she's
cool,
a
man.
lovely lady. She's
Great
awesome.
conversation.
Mm.
And she was telling me about her going back to the mushrooms, her experiences on mushrooms.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It
Really?
was interesting stuff.
She didn't bring it up with me, but that's all right. Obviously, we're 2 different people and we have 2 different conversations. So she was actually saying that she was thinking about coming to see Maine, and that maybe we could get together, but we'll see if that actually happens, because she's only in New York. She's like 4 or 5 hours away.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
Man.
I'm really excited to meet, because I'm going to be meeting a lot of people that I've interviewed this year. So that's going to be pretty cool. So I got going down to North Carolina, and then Jess might come to Maine in the summer. In the fall, I'm going down to Florida. So I'm going to see, oh my God, there's like 5 or 6 people in Florida that have been on the show that I'm going to be seeing. So I've gotten a lot of people from Florida. A lot of them actually just know each other, and like, so a lot of them are like on the same, and they all investigate haunted places together. So
all right, cool.
That's how I hooked up with them, and I started going through each member. So it's been fun.
I need to get over there, man.
You should definitely come over.
Yeah,
it'd be fun. I heard on one of I think it was your show or something. Whoever it was, I can't remember now, but they were like, you probably know enough people that you could probably just stay in people's houses.
Yeah. That's why I'm doing the show. I'm looking for a free holiday. I want to tour America. That's the.
Oh man. All right, Tommy. Does you have any other stories?
I've had UFO experiences. If you want me to go into that.
Yeah, that's right. You saw what looked like a building, right? Yeah, let's hear that.
Yeah. Okay, so this is when I was 14 when this happened, and it was just a nice summer's day. We was all playing football in the street, which is what we always done, and we suddenly stopped because we saw something in the sky, and we was all like, "What is that?" And we've all stopped playing, and we're just looking at it, and it's in the distance, but it just looked like. I always describe it as looking like a building that you would see in Dubai, because it's just like a weird shape.
Right.
It was like long, but it was just weird. It's really weird shape.
Did it have like that sultan top to it?
Yeah, it's sort of So it sort of went up, and I can't even explain the shape because it was weird.
Right.
But it was long, and it was like an orangey silver color.
Ooh.
And yeah,
that's interesting.
And we was just looking at it, and none of us had camera phones at the time. I don't even think camera phones were out when I was 14. No, they weren't. They weren't out. So none of us had phones or anything that we could.
If anything, it would have been the flip phone.
I had the Nokia brick. We used to call it the brick. because it was like
Yeah.
the big.
I had
when I was-
that too. Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
definitely didn't have a camera.
yeah, I think we're the same age, so
Yeah, I'm 35.
yeah, 34, so
Okay, no, cool.
perfect.
Yeah, so there was no cameras, but
Mm-mm.
we was just watching it for ages, and we was all like, "What is it?" Trying to work out what it was. None of us could work out what it was, and this is before. Obviously, I was interested in UFOs and stuff, but I wasn't like. If I saw that now, it would be, it'd be amazing. Like, I'd be getting pictures. I'd watch it all night. But at the time, I was amazed. Obviously, like we were
Right.
seeing crazy, but we was watching it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it was, and then we just started playing football again. And I think now, like, what? I would be watching that because we didn't see it go.
Right.
It just stayed there. Now I'd be watching it till it goes,
Yeah.
and I'd watch it for weeks if I had to.
It's kind of just like you're playing and you happen to look up, game off. And then you're just staring
that
at
was
game
it.
on. Oh,
That was
no.
it. That was it. We were just more interested in playing football. But I forgot about that experience.
Yeah.
And then I was on Cat Ward's show, Paranormal Heart, and we was going through the experiences that I've had, and that just came back to me when we was talking about UFOs. And I said what had happened, and then my brother listened to the show, and a couple of days later he rang me and said, "Bruv, what was that we saw in the sky that day?" And I was like, I don't know what it was. But so he remembered it, and we'd never spoke about it, really. Like, we'd never spoke about it after that day, which is mad.
But, not even any of your friends or anything that you played with?
I can't remember because we was always playing football. It was always different. I can't remember what friends were there that day.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure if they're listening to this, that they'll tell me if he was there that day. I can't remember who was there. Definitely my brother.
Yeah.
He rang me up and he was like, "Yeah, what was that?" But I just can't believe we started playing football again, because I would like to have seen if it had shot off or disappeared or what. I don't know how it left, but it was really weird.
Yeah. I feel like I would have done the same thing though. I would have been like, "Hey, you guys see that?" And then everybody would have been like, "Yeah." And then we would have just turned around and just kept doing what we were doing.
That's how it was, really. Yeah.
I mean, teenagers, attention span, you know?
Yeah. No, it's a UFO. Big deal, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's probably not even really there.
Yeah. But then so this is jumping ahead. This is not that long ago. So this is about 8 years ago. In the same area in Brentwood in the UK. I was living in a flat with my wife, and me and my mother-in-law were looking out, just talking and looking out. It was on the top floor. It was 4 stories high. So it wasn't super high, but it was quite high. Mm-hmm. And there was like this little forest on the other side of the road to us. And we're just looking out, talking. And all of a sudden, out of the forest, 3 shapes just come out of the forest, and they were like a silvery colour.
Oh, wow.
And they were changing shape.
Mm-hmm.
And they seemed to be connected. So they were sort of in unison together, going around each other. But they weren't touching. So they was floating up, these 3, I say balls, but they were like changing shape. You couldn't put a shape on it because they were constantly changing. Wow. And they were just sort of going around each other, going up. And me and my mother-in-law, I'm so glad she was there, because we were both going, "What is that? What is that?" And we were just watching it. And the color was sort of like, you know, I always say in the Terminator, when he's melting and he's that silvery color.
Oh, the T-1000.
That's how it looked. It was like melting metal.
Wow.
And they were changing shape, and they were like the size of I would say a basketball. So they weren't that big, but it was close to us, so we could see it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going up and up and up and up. And all of a sudden you just saw flash, 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 and they just shot off.
Wow.
And we was like, nobody is going to believe us that we just saw that.
Oh my God. Well, at least you have somebody to validate you.
Yeah. You know? I was so happy my mother-in-law was there.
Yeah. Wow, dude.
I did have a camera phone then, and I didn't take a picture, and I'm fuming that I didn't. But I don't know how it would have come out anyway. But
Yeah, you don't know if you would have had the time to anyway. If you
Yeah, didn't
actually
even
did, you
think
know
of
what
it
I
at the
mean?
time. Yeah,
I
it's
don't think
weird.
I don't know if I would have either. You know, I would have been more like, "Whoa."
Yeah, we was just watching it and just trying to work out what it was.
Right.
But
Right. You were more, yeah, you had other things on your mind than a fucking camera.
yeah,
So,
and then just to see it shoot off, it was mad.
mm,
So it got so far high up, we could still see it, but it got really high up, and then you just saw flash, 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 and they were gone. It was mad, man. It definitely wasn't a balloon or anything like that
oh,
because it just, yeah, weird.
that is weird. I wish I saw that now. I've never seen, at least that I know of. I've never seen a UFO or anything like a UFO. Anything that I'm unfamiliar with, I should say, in the sky.
But I'm always looking up and I find it fascinating. So I'm always trying to see something. I've seen a lot of things that I can't explain.
Yeah.
Things that are changing directions in the sky that are not planes. I don't know what they are, but I've seen a lot of weird things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I find it so interesting.
That is interesting. I always because I always go back and forth between the Earth possibly being flat or the Earth is possibly hollow or and stuff like that. So I always wonder like what UFOs are. Like are they housing other like are they housing alien species? Or are they like drones? Or I've heard a theory that UFOs are actual living creatures. Like, have you
Yeah.
seen the movie Nope?
I want to see that. I haven't seen it yet. No,
Oh,
but
okay.
I do want to see it.
Well, I won't give it anything away then.
Is it good?
Um, I will say I did not like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought it was like I was expecting way because it's Jordan Peele.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen any of his other movies? Like
Yeah, so he done that. Oh, what's it called? That other scary film. It's really
Us.
good. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then and Get Out was his first one, I think.
Get Out's
Get
good as
Out
well.
was
I
really
like that.
good, but
Yeah.
Us was so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then when I saw the previews for Nope, I was like, I gotta see that. And then I saw it and I
Yeah.
was so disappointed.
Yeah, because the trailer for it looks that's all I've seen, but it looks
Yeah.
awesome. But
I mean, there's
that's
scenes in it.
disappointing.
Yeah, there's scenes in it that are interesting, and there's scenes that in it that are, the comical. But yeah, I wasn't too happy with the overall project. I know it's a big process, and like I commend them for doing it. It was a good production. It was produced well
Yeah.
and everything, but like I don't know, you'll understand when you see it. Um I stayed right there in the theater for the whole thing, and I was with my ex-girlfriend, and she's like, we I don't like this. And she's like, we should leave. And I was
We
like,
paid for it now.
I was like, I gotta see how it ends.
Yeah, you can't start a film and not see it finish. I'm like
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
I think the only movie I've ever went to the movie theaters to see and got up and left was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was in the middle of that and I was just like, I'm not into it. And I just got up and
Yeah.
walked out.
Yeah.
So
Well, cinema is so expensive now in the UK. You have to stay in.
is it how expensive is
It's
it?
expensive. Well, so for me and the whole family to go, it's like £50 now. Which I know is not too, but once you bought your drinks and your popcorn,
yeah.
it adds up.
Yeah, I don't
So-
know. I don't know what the ratio between the US dollar and the pound. But for me and my two kids, it's $30 for like a evening show, or no, I think it's like 30 or $32. And then you got, your food and your snacks.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So you got to watch that whole film.
So
I had another UFO experience.
I was
as
just
well.
gonna ask you if you had another UFO experience.
So this was weird. I was in Centre Parks again, where my little girl saw my brother in the room. That wasn't my brother. So it wasn't the same time. It was a different time.
okay.
That was there. I'm a bit of a geek with like trees and stuff. Like I like taking pictures of trees and things like that. There's like a nice tree line, I'll take pictures.
That's weird, man. You're a weirdo.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
I
just
know.
kidding.
No, it is weird. It is weird.
I do it too, man.
I was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Look, it's beautiful. I'm taking a picture." But yeah, so I was just doing that. There was a nice tree line, and I just thought that'd be a nice picture. So I'm just taking pictures, and as I'm doing it, something shot up, straight up from the tree line to the sky, gone. And I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" And I was like, "Did I get it?" And it wasn't in the picture, but you know, on the iPhone,
the lives,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I've done the live, and you can see it. And I was like, "Whoa,
no shit.
I got it. Yeah.
Nice.
What is that?" It's not a firework because there was no sort. I don't think it was a firework because it went straight to the sky. And I was like, "Whoa!" But it was literally just a quick light, so it wouldn't have proved anything. If I'd put it on Instagram, people are gonna be like, "What's that?" It's just a light, you know. It wouldn't have proved anything. But I had it, and I was like, "Wow!" But then I got this horrible feeling, and I was like, "What's this? Why am I?" And I was like telling myself, "Delete it, delete it." And you know what I'm like on Instagram? I'll post everything.
Yeah.
You know, if I see something that's freaky, scary, I'm gonna post it. And I just had this horrible feeling, and I was like, and when I say horrible, I was like, I've got to get this off my phone. It's really weird. Never had that before or after. Just a weird feeling, and I deleted it. And I was like, and then I deleted it from my recently deleted, so it was gone.
Oh shit!
And I think about it now, and I'm so annoyed, even though it doesn't prove anything.
Right?
Why did I delete it? I don't understand why, and I just find it so weird that I had that bad vibe and I deleted it. I don't know what that was all about.
I wonder if they were mind controlling you.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know, because it was such a strong feeling for me to get rid of this picture.
Huh. That
So
is
I don't know.
odd.
And all I can say is it is close to a military base. So was it something military related? But I don't know. That's just me speculating. But it was really strange because I post everything. I post everything on social media.
I would have believed that it was something.
Yeah.
Even if you couldn't tell, I would have been like, "Oh wow, yeah, he really got something." And then somebody probably else would have picked it apart. But
yeah, that's a firework, man. But that's what I mean. Even if I'd put it on, it wouldn't have. Like, it wasn't an amazing video. It was like literally just a quick dart in the sky. But I just found it weird that I got a bad vibe from it and deleted it.
That is weird. Maybe it was praying mantis people.
Could be, man. Could be.
Have you heard those stories? The shape-shifting praying mantis people.
Yeah.
They're like aliens.
I won't want to come across any of them. That's for sure.
Fuck that shit. They literally eat, the females will literally eat the heads of males. So and that's after mating.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
Oh yeah. And so I recently got back into dating, and I was it's funny because I had this thought, this same exact thought, because I heard a story on a podcast of praying mantis alien, and I was just like, what if one of these women, I like, what if they come home with me or something like that after a date or something like that, and they're a praying mantis person, and then right after they eat my head off. Like, I don't want that shit.
No, man.
So, and like,
I don't need that.
No, nobody needs that. And it's funny though too, because like, with the way the path of my life is going, like, I don't want to do anything that I don't want to do. And so like, I'll start talking to a girl, and then I'll just be like, no, I'm just gonna do me. You know. So
yeah, you'll know when the time's right, and when you get that feeling, you'll know.
Yeah, you're right. So so as far as I can remember, that's all your stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I had another experience quite recently where I was watching Monday Night Football. I just got in from work and I wasn't doing any interviews or anything. I was just chilling. I was watching Monday Night Football and I had all the lights off in the house apart from the telly light. And I heard something walk down the stairs. And I just thought it was my wife or one of the kids. I literally heard the steps. And from my front room, you can see the stairs. And I've just looked up and I was just expecting to see someone there. Because I literally heard them walk down the stairs. And there was no one there. And I was like, oh man, that's freaky.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't scare me again. And I thought that was weird again. And I was like, nah, I'm just gonna watch the football. And I didn't and I kept all the lights off and I just carried on watching it. And I couldn't believe it that I'd done that. And that was quite weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
So I'm getting so used to it, man.
Yeah.
Not scared me anymore.
Did they sound like heavy or were they light like your one?
It was heavy footsteps.
Okay.
Yeah. And literally I heard them walking down. Like I was just expecting to see someone there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was weird. That's another
You're just like, oh, yep, no, that's not a person.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Football's
Yeah,
on the telly.
Yeah, that's what it was like. I'm getting so used to it.
That's hilarious. There was something I was gonna freaking say and I can't remember. Oh, the mind plays evil tricks, man.
Yeah, mate.
You know what? Okay, so I'll ask you this actually, because I like to ask this to a lot of my my guests. Are you finding fulfillment in what you're doing with your path right now?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for the first time in my life, I am doing what I want to do. I'm just going for it, and it's the happiest I've probably been work-wise, 100%.
Good.
Because before I was sort of in a job that I wasn't. It was an okay job, but I wasn't happy with it. Mm-hmm. It's not what I wanted to do forever, and I've been talking about doing the podcast for years. Like some of my friends are like saying to me now, "Oh, well done, you're doing it now. You're doing it." Because I've been talking about it for years. And then there was I think for me, what gave me the actual push to just go for it now was the lockdown period. When we were sort of cut off from everything and you didn't have tomorrow anymore. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it now. Because I've always been a person that's waited for the right moment. Like in my mind, I've always been a person that's gone, yeah, no, that's not perfect, so I'm not going to do that yet. Or I made excuses. And then I just sort of realized that nothing's ever perfect, ever. So just do it and learn as you go. That's my advice to people now.
It's good advice, man.
Because I used to think doing the podcast, it's going to be difficult. You got to edit it. You got to get a good mic. And I wanted to do it, and I'd sort of taught myself, I'll do that tomorrow. But that's not the way, man. The way is to just do it today and learn as you go.
Mm-hmm. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
100%. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And another thing I like as well is enjoying the journey. So enjoying the process of what you're doing. Enjoy the hard days, because there is hard days where it's difficult. Right. But enjoying those days as well, I think, is important. Because I have days I'm like, oh man, this is so difficult, and it gets on top. But you're like, no, let's enjoy this moment as well in a weird way.
Yeah.
And enjoy the journey. Enjoy the whole thing.
Well, so
that's my advice to people.
When you say that makes me think of a Mike Tyson quote. And I'll probably fuck up the quote, but I'll try to do the best that I can that I remember of it. And it's sometimes you got to do difficult shit, but you got to do the difficult. Sometimes you have to do stuff that you don't want to do, and you have to do it like you love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
To get through. I think something like that. And I
I
probably
like
just
that.
butchered the shit out of it, but I think you get the general consensus of where it
Yeah.
goes.
100%,
But
man. I like
that,
it. I like that.
that guy is so much wiser than anybody really realizes, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, he's experienced a lot in his life, and I gravitate to a lot of things that he says.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. He's
um,
on Instagram. There's a lot of reels where he's saying like motivational stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, man. What he says is true.
it is. It really is. Another favorite quote of mine of his is, "Not everyone you fight is your enemy, and not everyone that helps you is your friend."
Yeah. Yeah.
So like somebody helping you, they have alternate motives, or sometimes you're fighting with somebody that is actually your friend, and the only reason why you're fighting is because they're trying to help you.
Yeah.
Realistically, that's the generalization of that quote.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean?
He says a lot of wise things.
So today, so you're technically Saturday right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you guys do anything for St. Patrick's Day?
We didn't actually know. I've not today.
Yeah.
I don't normally actually. I used to go out and have a few drinks back in the day,
Yeah.
but recent years, not really.
Yeah. So I had forgotten that it was St. Patrick's Day, and I went. So I just took myself on a little date, and I went.
Yeah.
I went down to the pub here, right down the street from my house, and I actually go there a lot. I'm always by myself. I just get something to eat and get a couple beers and go home. And I walk in, and all the waitresses and the bartenders are dressed in green. I was like, oh shit.
Oh no. There's a little leprechaun in there. Like, what are you doing?
And she's the the main bartender is a girl I went to high school with, and she's like, happy St. Patrick's Day. And I was like, I didn't even realize it was St. Patrick's Day today. And she's like, what? I was like, I know now because you're wearing fucking green.
Do you like Guinness? Do you ever drink Guinness? Is that something
I do.
I like
I like Guinness. I like the blonde just because it's more like the regular beer, and stout is obviously more bitter, but
yeah.
I can handle it. The first time I ever had it, my ex-wife was working at a hotel, and somebody left it in the mini fridge, and she brought it home. She's like, "Oh, Kevin will like this. He likes beer."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I've never had this," and she's like, "Well, it's a stout," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what that means." And I friggin' drank it, and I was like,
yeah,
this is kind of gross. And then the more I drank it, I was like, oh, this ain't that bad.
Yeah,
but
that's how I drink it. Yeah,
that first swig, I was just like, wow.
A lot of people in the UK put like a juice in it, in the stout one.
Oh, really? What kind of juice?
It's called something. So do you get like Ribena?
Yes. Yep.
Ribena. They call it something. I can't remember what it's called, but a lot of people have the Ribena on the top of it.
Oh no!
I don't know how much that changes the taste, but a lot of people do that. I don't. I normally just have it straight. But
yeah. Well, I drink Samuel Adams straight from Massachusetts. That's my beer of choice. So
nice man.
So
I love all beers.
Me too. I'll drink anything.
Yeah, if it's beer, I'll drink it.
If it's an IPA, there's a good chance that I'm probably gonna stumble later.
Yeah.
So actually, the last time that I actually got to that point where I couldn't walk was IPAs, and
oh really?
I only drank like a couple, and I'm just like, and I remember when I started feeling it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I only had 5 drinks. I was like, I can drink a 6-pack, no problem. What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then because the IPAs are obviously they have more alcohol content and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I was walking across this field in the middle of the night and I'm just like swatting fucking mosquitoes and I'm just like, oh, I can't even walk. I can't see.
I don't know what it is, but as soon as you hit air, it hits you, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
hits you.
Yeah, it
You're like,
does.
whoa.
Yeah.
I've drunk a lot.
Yeah. Well, man, if you ever come over here, we should get a drink for sure.
100%, bro. That'd be awesome. Yeah,
That would be
100%.
I would love it. So,
Yes. I want to get over there soon, man. That is the aim.
Just let me know and I'll come if you don't end up coming to Maine, or if you're like in a
I'd love
nearby
to go.
state, I don't mind traveling.
No, I'm coming, man. I'm coming.
Sounds good, bud.
I need a
So
couch. I need a couch to stay on.
you know what? You could we could get you air mattresses and everything, or you could or the kids' beds. Whatever works. We'll figure something out. I even have a hammock if you come over when it's warm out.
Oh wow.
I got one of those ones that folds you up like a cocoon. You can just stay outside. I usually lay in that and read books. So when it's nice out.
Yeah, I've never slept in a hammock before, so that'd be cool.
Yeah. It's interesting at first, but if you're one of those type of sleepers that likes to move around, it's a little hard to move around, obviously. So I can sleep in it I could take naps in it, but I can't sleep the whole night. And
yeah, I'm a mover as well.
Yeah. So but anyways, I won't keep you any longer. So if you want to tell everybody listening where they can find you and all that.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor to be on the show. I'm a big fan of your show. It's awesome work.
Thanks, man. I'm a fan of yours too. It's I like the different perspectives that you and I have. We have a similar way of talking to people in a way, but at the same time we have different takes. So it's really interesting to hear your perspective on things as well. And I enjoy your show.
Do you feel like thank you very much, man. Do you feel like your perspective can change weekly at the moment? Like, do you feel like you'll talk to someone and it will change what you think? You talk to someone else, you know what I mean? I feel like it changes all the time.
Yeah, it's like you'll talk to somebody who's a little more religious and they have more of a religious point of view, or somebody that is more spiritual and they have more of a spiritual point of view, or it's just, and you're just like, oh yeah, well maybe that's true. But I think, and it goes back to like the Kabbalion, where the all is in all, and the and all, and what's in the fuck, I forget how the fuck it goes. I'm so sorry. It's the all is in all, and all is the all, I think is how it says. So like, I think every perspective is, because so you think about it like this: your perception is your reality, and nobody else's reality is your reality because you're the one who's perceiving it. So whatever your take is on the paranormal, that's your take, because those are the experiences you've experienced. So that is your perspective. And the only thing, just like with anything else in the world, you got to be open to hearing other perspectives and other opinions without judgment. So, and I think that comes out a lot in the podcast. So not everybody's perspective is what I think would be accurate, but my mind kind of starts to sway a little bit, like, oh yeah, well maybe
seeing it from another point.
So, and I tried to be as open to all perspectives as much as possible. And I
Yeah.
know my political background, a lot of people would say that I'm more close-minded because of it, because that's how they view that party. But I don't think I don't think anybody is what you can't put anybody in a box, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with that. So yeah, I do sway a little bit from time to time when I talk to people about this stuff and about their individual experiences and their perspective. So
Yeah. I think that's good though. I think it's good to be open-minded and seeing it from different points.
yeah, of course. I mean, we are all connected more than I think most people realize. The collective consciousness is so like separated right now, and I don't know. I think the more that we try to be understanding and friendly, I think friendliness, it can go a really long way with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people have experienced a lot in their life to has made them a little more cynical and a little more dark at heart. But I think we can kind of like break that generational trauma of not like I'm out for me. Like, well, I mean, yes, there's times where you should be selfish, but there's also a lot of things that we can gain and learn from each other and help our communities grow.
Yeah, man.
So, and like with us, like the para unity, like fucking just like we were talking about earlier, everybody that I've talked to, man, like they're like becoming like extremely good friends, and honestly, they support me more than people that I've known my entire life.
100%.
So,
100%, man.
I don't think there's anybody that I know in my personal life that actually listens to my show. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I don't.
Bet they do.
You think? You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. If they do, they don't say anything. So, like, I'm trying to revive my Facebook too right now, and all my Facebook. I got a bunch of Facebook friends that have like agreed to like follow the page and whatever, but they don't interact or anything on it, which is kind of why it died, because I wasn't like nobody was interacting with anything that I posted, so I just stuck with the Instagram, and then I just started posting stuff on Facebook again, because I don't know if I think you follow him and he follows you too, but Down the Rabbit Hole.
Oh yeah.
He started following me
stuff on there
on Facebook, and I was just like, oh, maybe I'll revive it. Like it was just like random, and I'm like, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I have a Facebook. So he's been like a really good supporter of this show, and I am so grateful that he listens. And if he's watching this right now, I love you, man. So he actually said the other day, because he watched my conspiracy episode, he's like he was telling me about, he's like, oh, I just watched your conspiracy episode. I was like, oh, thanks, man. I'm so happy that you listened to it. What did you think? He's like, he told me what he thought, and he's like, I don't agree with your politics, but I'm a lifer. I'm gonna watch this show and I'm gonna watch you grow. I know you're gonna get big, and this and that. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't care if you don't agree with my politics. That's not what this is about.
Yeah.
Like just like, because like I said in that episode, I actually think it was that episode, like we don't have to agree on I think if we agree on everything,
there's a problem.
The world would be pretty fucking boring.
Yeah. 100%, man.
And we can still Bobby actually said it in that podcast. he goes, you don't have to agree with my lifestyle. You don't have to agree with anything that I do, but it doesn't fucking matter. We can still be fucking friends and go get a drink.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So, and I think the humanity has kind of like lost that in a way, where they just want to, you're this, you believe in this, so you're the specific person, and that means I don't fucking like you just because your opinion is different than mine.
Yeah. I've never understood that. I've never understood people that are like that.
Me neither, man. I really don't. But
you can disagree and still get on and still love each other, you know what I mean?
Right. This is what just like because you listen to Tinfoil Hat.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do with consenting adults, just don't fuck with children.
Yeah, 100% on that, man.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's all I care about.
Yeah. He says that every episode as well, and I love it.
He does. That's my favorite line. So I use it actually a lot too. I'm just like,
it's true though. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem, and that's when we did the conspiracy episode. And we were trying to figure out what topics to go over. I was like, I just want to bring up how 800,000 children go missing every year in the United States alone.
Yeah, it's mad.
And that's like, that has always been my issue for years since I was young, that children are exposed to such negative and traumatic things. And I wish I could do something about it. And I don't really know what I can do. So except to bring awareness. And
I think just talking about it and putting it out is a big thing.
Yeah. So,
but it's terrible. I don't know how anyone could do anything horrible to a kid, man. I just can't imagine it. I don't know.
Me neither, man. Me neither. Sometimes I yell at my kids and I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I mean, I don't apologize to them, but I'm just like, I feel bad that I just yelled at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We all have that moment where we lose it. And we're like, and then I'm like, they look at you and you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, baby.
I actually did used to apologize to my daughter, and then I was like, that's a bad way to parent.
Yeah. Because then they know, they just give you that look and you're like,
I'm so sorry, baby
girl.
I'll
be angry. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I'm horrible.
Bad daddy.
Yeah.
Sorry,
man. I was meant to be wrapping up when we.
No, it's so
sorry, brother.
Oh, good. It doesn't matter. You know what? It's all good.
I love being on the show, man.
Dude, I love having you, and I'm so happy that you took the time to do this. I know we had a little issue with the scheduling part because of me, but
no, that's fine, man.
I'm happy you worked with me and was able to come on. So
thank you very much. Been an honor, man.
It's been an honor and a pleasure for me. So where can everybody listening find your show? Like, what platforms are you on?
So we're on most of the podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. We're on most of them. I think we're on all of them, but there might be one that I missed. I'm not sure. But we're also on YouTube, but I don't put every episode on YouTube yet, but I will do. Your episode's on YouTube.
Yep. I watched it.
Eventually, I will do more stuff on YouTube. But yeah, every podcast platform we're on. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. We're on all of them. TC, Let's Get Freaky. Come and say hi. I'd love to hear from you guys. Yeah.
Nice. And you just started a Reddit too, right?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing on there though, man.
I was just gonna say
idea.
I thought about doing it, but I don't know what the fuck it is. You know what I mean?
I don't even know you follow people in it. I don't know what I'm doing.
All right. I tried when Twitter first came out back in the day. I got one, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? I don't even know how to. What am I doing? And I just never fucked with it again. And I was like, I don't even understand.
Because they've all got their different ways. Like TikTok's a bit different to Instagram. So you do something on TikTok that you think you would do on Instagram, and you've done something else, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
There's a lot of I've got no idea what Reddit is yet. I'm still learning that one.
All right. You'll have to tell me about it so you can help me figure it out when I decide to get on there.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, that's the show. If you have any freaky or weird stories you want to tell, you can either reach out to Tommy or I. You can get me at wheretheweirdonesare@gmail.com or hit up my IG at where_theweirdonesare. And Tommy just told you where you can find him. So with that, I would like to tell you to be safe and have a good night and stay weird.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.
Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky. When the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day, make a wish.